The Purple Dress. Gaunmu. A short story written by O. Henry and read for you in both Indonesian and English. Please enjoy. We are to consider the shade known as purple. It is a color justly in repute among the sons and daughters of man. Kita akan membahas corak yang dikenal sebagai ungu. Ini adalah warna yang sangat dihormati di kalangan putra dan putri umat manusia. Emperors claim it for their special dye. Kaisar-kaisar mengklaimnya sebagai pewarna istimewa mereka. Good fellows everywhere seek to bring their noses to the genial hue that follows the commingling of the red and blue. Teman-teman baik dimanapun berusaha mendekatkan hidung mereka pada rona cerah yang muncul dari perpaduan merah dan biru. We say of princes that they are born to the purple, and no doubt they are, for the colic tinges their faces with a royal tint equally with the snub-nosed countenance of a woodchopper's brat. Kita berkata tentang para pangeran bahwa mereka terlahir dalam warna ungu, dan tentu saja demikian, sebab kolik mewarnai wajah mereka dengan corak kerajaan, sama halnya dengan anak si penebang kayu yang berhidung pesek. All women love it when it is the fashion. Semua wanita menyukainya, ketika sedang menjadi tren. And now purple is being worn. Dan sekarang, ungu sedang banyak dipakai. You notice it on the streets. Of course other colors are quite stylish as well. In fact, I saw a lovely thing the other day in olive green albatross, with a triple-lapped flounce skirt trimmed with insert squares of silk, and a draped fichu of lace opening over a shirred vest and double puff sleeves with a lace band holding two gathered frills. But you see lots of purple too. Anda melihatnya di jalanan. Tentu saja warna lain juga cukup modis. Bahkan, belum lama ini saya melihat pakaian cantik berwarna hijau zaitun berbahan albatros, dengan rok berlapis 3 yang dihiasi potongan persegi dari sutra. Ditambah dengan fichu renda terjuntai yang terbuka di atas rompi berlipit dan lengan puff ganda dengan pita renda yang menyatukan 2 kerut di ujung. Tetapi Anda juga akan melihat banyak pakaian ungu. Oh yes, you do. Just take a walk down 23rd Street any afternoon. Oh, ya, pasti Anda lihat. Cobalah berjalan di jalan 23rd suatu sore. Therefore Maida, the girl with the big brown eyes and cinnamon-colored hair in the beehive store, said to Grace, the girl with the rhinestone brooch and peppermint pepsin flavor to her speech, I'm going to have a purple dress, a tailor-made purple dress, for Thanksgiving. Maka Maida, gadis bermata coklat besar dan berambut coklat kayu manis di toko beehive, berkata kepada Grace, gadis dengan bros batur hinestone dan gaya bicaranya yang seperti permen mint pepsin, aku akan membuat gaun ungu hasil jahitan tukang jahit, untuk hari Thanksgiving. Oh, are you, said Grace, putting away some 7.5 gloves into the 6 3/4 box. Well, it's me for red. You see more red on Fifth Avenue. And the men all seem to like it. Oh, ya? Kata Grace, sambil menyimpan sarung tangan ukuran 7/2 ke dalam kotak ukuran 6/3/4. Kalau aku sih milih merah. Di Fifth Avenue banyak yang pakai merah. Dan sepertinya semua pria menyukainya. I like purple best, said Maida. And old Schlegel has promised to make it for $8. It's going to be lovely. I'm going to have a plaited skirt and a blouse coat trimmed with a band of galloon under a white cloth collar with 2 rows of. Aku lebih suka ungu, kata Maida. Dan si tua Schlegel sudah janji untuk menjahitkannya seharga $8. Pasti akan bagus sekali. Aku akan punya rok berlipit dan jaket model blus yang diberi hiasan pita galon di bawah kerah kain putih dengan 2 baris. Sly boots, said Grace with an educated wink. Dasar licik, kata Grace dengan kedipan mata yang terlatih. Soutache braid over a surpliced white vest, and a plaited basque and anyaman soutache di atas rompi putih berpotongan surplice, plus basque berlipit dan sly boots, repeated Grace. Dasar licik, ulang Grace. Plaited gigot sleeves with a drawn velvet ribbon over an inside cuff. What do you mean by saying that? Lengan gigot berlipit dengan pita bludru tertarik di atas manset bagian dalam. Maksudmu apa mengatakan itu? You think Mr. Ramsay likes purple. I heard him say yesterday he thought some of the dark shades of red were stunning. Kau pikir pak Ramzi suka ungu. Aku dengar dia bilang kemarin dia kira beberapa korak merah jelap itu menakjubkan. I don't care, said Maida. I prefer purple, and them that don't like it can just take the other side of the street. Aku tidak peduli, kata Maida. Aku lebih suka ungu, dan siapapun yang tidak suka bisa lewat sisi jalan yang lain. Which suggests the thought that after all, the followers of purple may be subject to slight delusions. Hal ini menunjukkan pemikiran bahwa, pada akhirnya, para pengikut warna ungu mungkin saja terjebak sedikit ilusi. Danger is near when a maiden thinks she can wear purple regardless of complexions and opinions, and when emperors think their purple robes will wear forever. Bahaya mengintai ketika seorang gadis berpikir dia bisa mengenakan ungu tanpa peduli warna kulit atau pendapat orang. Begitu pula ketika para kaisar percaya bahwa jubah ungu mereka akan abadi selamanya. Maida had saved $18 after 8 months of economy, and this had bought the goods for the purple dress and paid Schlegel $4 on the making of it. Maida telah menabung $18 setelah 8 bulan berhemat. Uang ini digunakan untuk membeli bahan untuk gaun ungu dan membayar $4 kepada Schlegel untuk proses penjahitannya. On the day before Thanksgiving, she would have just enough to pay the remaining $4. Pada hari sebelum Thanksgiving, dia akan memiliki cukup uang untuk membayar sisa 4-nya. And then for a holiday in a new dress, can earth offer anything more enchanting? Lalu liburan dengan gaun baru, adakah yang lebih mempesona daripada itu? Old Bachman, the proprietor of the Beehive store, always gave a Thanksgiving dinner to his employees. Si tua Bachman, pemilik toko Beehive, selalu mengadakan makan malam Thanksgiving untuk para pegawainya. On every one of the subsequent 364 days, excusing Sundays, he would remind them of the joys of the past banquet and the hopes of the coming ones, thus inciting them to increased enthusiasm in work. Pada setiap hari dari 364 hari berikutnya, kecuali Minggu, ia akan mengingatkan mereka tentang sukacita jamuan makan yang lalu dan harapan untuk yang akan datang, sehingga mendorong mereka bekerja dengan lebih bersemangat. The dinner was given in the store on one of the long tables in the middle of the room. Jamuan itu diadakan di dalam toko, di salah satu meja panjang di tengah ruangan. They tacked wrapping paper over the front windows, and the turkeys and other good things were brought in the back way from the restaurant on the corner. Mereka menempel kertas pembungkus di kaca jendela depan, dan kalkun serta hidangan lezat lainnya dibawa melalui pintu belakang dari restoran di pojok jalan. You will perceive that the Beehive was not a fashionable department store, with escalators and pompadours. Anda akan menyadari bahwa Beehive bukanlah toko besar yang modis, dengan eskalator dan tatanan rambut pompadour. It was almost small enough to be called an emporium, and you could actually go in there and get waited on and walk out again. Toko itu hampir cukup kecil untuk disebut emporium. Anda benar-benar bisa masuk, dilayani, lalu keluar lagi. And always at the Thanksgiving dinners, Mr. Ramsay. Dan di setiap jamuan Thanksgiving, T.N. Ramsay. Oh bother. I should have mentioned Mr. Ramsay first of all. Ah, repot juga. Saya seharusnya menyebutkan T.N. Ramsay sejak awal. He is more important than purple or green, or even the red cranberry sauce. Dia lebih penting daripada ungu atau hijau, bahkan lebih penting daripada saus cranberry merah sekalipun. Mr. Ramsay was the head clerk, and as far as I am concerned, I am for him. T.N. Ramsay adalah kepala pegawai, dan menurut saya mendukungnya. He never pinched the girls' arms when he passed them in dark corners of the store, and when he told them stories when business was dull and the girls giggled and said, "Oh, Shaw, it wasn't G. Bernard they meant at all." Dia tidak pernah mencubit lengan para gadis saat melewati mereka di sudut-sudut toko yang remang, dan ketika ia menceritakan kisah-kisah saat toko sepi dan para gadis tertawa cekikikan sambil berkata, "Oh, aduh, bukan G. Bernard yang mereka maksud sama sekali." Besides being a gentleman, Mr. Ramsay was queer and original in other ways. Selain bersikap sebagai seorang pria terhormat, T.N. Ramsay juga unik dan orisinal dalam berbagai hal lain. He was a health crank, and believed that people should never eat anything that was good for them. Dia sangat terobsesi dengan kesehatan, dan percaya bahwa orang seharusnya tidak pernah makan apapun yang bermanfaat bagi mereka. He was violently opposed to anybody being comfortable, and coming in out of snowstorms, or wearing overshoes, or taking medicine, or coddling themselves in any way. Dia sangat menentang siapapun yang merasa nyaman, serta melindungi diri dari badai salju, atau memakai sepatu pelindung, atau minum obat, atau memanjakan diri dengan cara apapun. Every one of the 10 girls in the store had little pork chop and fried onion dreams every night of becoming Mrs. Ramsay. Setiap malam, ke-10 gadis di toko itu menghayal sejenak soal menjadi Nyonya Ramsay, bagaikan lamunan bak daging babi goreng dan bawang bombay goreng yang menggoda mereka. For next-year-old Bachman was going to take him in for a partner. Sebab, tahun depan si tua Bachman akan mengajaknya menjadi rekan bisnis. And each one of them knew that if she should catch him she would knock those cranky health notions of his sky high before the wedding cake indigestion was over. Dan masing-masing tahu, jika dia berhasil memikatnya, dia akan menyingkirkan ide-ide kesehatan aneh itu jauh-jauh sebelum mereka selesai menghadapi gangguan pencernaan kue pernikahan. Mr. Ramsay was master of ceremonies at the dinners. Ten Ramsay adalah pemimpin upacara pada jamuan-jamuan makan tersebut. Always they had 2 Italians in to play a violin and harp and had a little dance in the store. Mereka selalu mengundang 2 orang Italia untuk memainkan biola dan harpa, lalu mengadakan sedikit acara dansa di dalam toko. And here were 2 dresses being conceived to charm Ramsay, one purple and the other red. Dan disinilah 2 gaun diciptakan untuk memikat Ramsay, 1 ungu dan 1 merah. Of course, the other 8 girls were going to have dresses too, but they didn't count. Tentu, ke-8 gadis lainnya juga akan memakai gaun, tetapi mereka tidak diperhitungkan. Very likely they'd wear some shirt-waist and black skirt affairs, nothing as resplendent as purple or red. Kemungkinan besar mereka akan mengenakan paduan kemeja dan rok hitam, tidak ada yang semewah ungu atau merah. Grace had saved her money too. She was going to buy her dress ready-made. Grace juga menabung. Dia akan membeli gaunnya dalam kondisi siap pakai. Oh, what's the use of bothering with a tailor, when you've got a figure it's easy to get a fit? The ready-made are intended for a perfect figure, except I have to have them all taken in at the waist. The average figure is so large-waisted. Oh, buat apa repot-repot ke tukang jahit? Kalau sudah punya bentuk tubuh yang pas, mudah saja mendapatkan ukuran yang cocok. Pakaian siap pakai itu memang dibuat untuk ukuran tubuh ideal. Walau aku harus mengecilkan bagian pinggang, karena ukuran pinggang rata-rata itu terlalu besar. The night before Thanksgiving came. Maida hurried home, keen and bright with the thoughts of the blessed morrow. Malam sebelum Thanksgiving tiba, Maida pulang dengan bergegas, penuh semangat dan kegembiraan memikirkan hari esok yang penuh berkah. Her thoughts were of purple, but they were white themselves. The joyous enthusiasm of the young for the pleasures that youth must have or wither. Pikirannya tertuju pada ungu, namun sebenarnya berwarna putih, semacam semangat gembira khas anak muda untuk mengejar kesenangan yang wajib dimiliki masa muda, atau mereka layu. She knew purple would become her, and for the 1000th time she tried to assure herself that it was purple Mr. Ramsay said he liked and not red. Dia tahu ungu akan cocok untuknya, dan untuk ke-1000 kali dia meyakinkan diri bahwa ungulah yang Pak Ramsay bilang dia suka, bukan merah. She was going home first to get the $4 wrapped in a piece of tissue paper in the bottom drawer of her dresser, and then she was going to pay Schlegel and take the dress home herself. Dia pulang dulu untuk mengambil $4 yang dibungkus kertas tisu di laci paling bawah lemari. Lalu dia akan membayar Schlegel dan membawa gaunnya pulang sendiri. Grace lived in the same house. She occupied the hall room above Maida's. Grace tinggal di rumah yang sama. Dia menempati kamar di lorong di atas kamar Maida. At home Maida found clamor and confusion, the landlady's tongue clattering sourly in the halls like a churn dasher dabbing in buttermilk. Sesampainya di rumah, Maida menemukan suasana gaduh dan kacau. Lida si pemilik rumah berdekak mazam di lorong. Ibaratalat pengadak mentega yang memukul susu. And then Grace come down to her room crying with eyes as red as any dress. Lalu Grace datang ke kamarnya sambil menangis, dengan mata semerah gaunnya. She says I've got to get out, said Grace. The old beast. 'Cause I owe her $4. She's put my trunk in the hall and locked the door. I can't go anywhere else. I haven't got a cent of money. Dia bilang aku harus pergi, kata Grace. Perempuan tua jahat itu. Karena aku berutang $4 padanya. Dia meletakkan koporku di lorong dan mengunci pintu. Aku tidak punya tempat lain. Aku tidak punya uang sama sekali. You had some yesterday, said Maida. Kemarin kamu masih punya uang, kata Maida. I paid it on my dress, said Grace. I thought she'd wait till next week for the rent. Aku sudah membayar untuk gaunku, kata Grace. Kupikir dia akan menunggu sampai minggu depan untuk uang sewa. Sniffle, sniffle, sob, sniffle. Isaac, Isaac, Tangies, Isaac. Out it had to come, made us $4. Muncullah, memang harus keluar. Uang $4 milik Maida. You blessed darling, cried Grace. Now a rainbow instead of sunset. I'll pay the mean old thing and then I'm going to try on my dress. I think it's heavenly. Come up and look at it. I'll pay the money back, $1 a week, honest I will. Kamu benar-benar malaikat, seru Grace. Kini seperti pelangi alih-alih senja yang muram. Aku akan bayar si tua pelit itu. Lalu aku mau coba gaunku. Menurutku gaun itu indah sekali. Naiklah ke atas dan lihatlah sendiri. Aku akan ganti uangmu. $1 seminggu. Sungguh, aku janji. Thanksgiving. Hurry Thanksgiving. The dinner was to be at noon. At 11:45 Grace switched into Maida's room. Makan siang dijadwalkan pukul 12 siang. Pada pukul 12 kurang seperempat, Grace masuk ke kamar Maida dengan anggun. Yes, she looked charming. Red was her color. Benar, dia tampak memesona. Merah memang warnanya. Maida sat by the window in her old Cheviot skirt and blue waist darning doing fancy work. Maida duduk di dekat jendela dengan rok Cheviot lamanya dan blus biru, sedang menisik se. Maksudnya sedang melakukan pekerjaan kerajinan tangan. Why, goodness me, ain't you dressed yet? Shrilled the red one. How does it fit in the back? Don't you think these velvet tabs look awful swell? Why ain't you dressed, Maida? Astaga, kenapa kamu belum ganti baju? Seru si merah. Gimana bagian punggungnya? Gak kelihatan Karen Yapita beludruku ini. Kenapa kamu belum ganti baju, Maida? My dress didn't get finished in time, said Maida. I'm not going to the dinner. Gaunku belum selesai dijahit tepat waktu, kata Maida. Aku tidak akan pergi ke jamuan makan. That's too bad. Why, I'm awfully sorry, Maida. Why don't you put on anything and come along? It's just the store folks, you know, and they won't mind. Wah, sayang sekali. Duh, aku benar-benar menyesal. Maida, kenapa nggak pakai baju apa saja lalu ikut? Cuma orang-orang toko kok. Mereka nggak keberatan. I was set on my purple, said Maida. If I can't have it, I won't go at all. Don't bother about me. Run along or you'll be late. You look awful nice in red. Aku sudah kepingin sekali pakai yang ungu, kata Maida. Kalau tidak bisa pakai itu, aku sama sekali tidak mau pergi. Jangan pikirkan aku. Cepat sana atau kau terlambat. Kamu kelihatan cantik sekali dengan merah. At her window, Maida sat through the long morning and passed the time of the dinner at the store. Di jendelanya, Maida duduk sepanjang pagi hingga lewat waktu makan di toko. In her mind she could hear the girls shrieking over a pull bone, could hear old Batchman's roar over his own deeply concealed jokes, could see the diamonds of fat Mrs. Buckman, who came to the store only on Thanksgiving days, could see Mr. Ramsey moving about, alert, kindly, looking to the comfort of all. Dalam benaknya, dia bisa mendengar para gadis berteriak gara-gara permainan tulang tarikan, mendengar si tua Batchman tertawa keras dengan lelucon rahasianya, membayangkan kilau berlian istri Batchman yang gemuk, yang hanya datang ke toko saat Thanksgiving, dan melihat TN. Ramsay bergerak ke sana kemari. waspada, ramah, memastikan kenyamanan semua orang. At 4 in the afternoon, with an expressionless face and a lifeless air, she slowly made her way to Schlegel's shop and told him she could not pay the $4 due on the dress. Pukul 4 sore, dengan wajah tanpa ekspresi dan sikap tak bersemangat, dia perlahan-lahan menuju toko Schlegel dan mengatakan dia tidak bisa membayar sisa $4 untuk gaunnya. "God!" cried Schlegel angrily. "For what do you look so glum? Take him away. He is ready. Pay me some time. Have I not seen you pass mine shop every day in 2 years? If I make clothes, is it that I do not know how to read Beeples? Because you will pay me some time when you can. Take him away. He is made good, and if you look bretty in him, all right. Pay me when you can." "God!" seru Schlegel marah. "Kenapa kamu tampak begitu murung? Bawa saja gaun ini. Sudah selesai. Bayar nanti saja. Bukankah aku melihatmu lewat di depan tokoku setiap hari selama 2 tahun? Kalau aku menjahit pakaian, apakah berarti aku tidak tahu caranya memahami orang? Kamu bayarlah kapanpun bisa. Ambil saja. Jahitannya bagus. Dan kalau kamu kelihatan cantik memakainya, baguslah. Ya sudah, bayar bila mampu." Maida breathed the millionth part of the thanks in her heart, and hurried away with her dress. Maida hanya bisa mengucapkan sebagian kecil rasa terima kasih di hatinya, lalu bergegas pergi membawa gaunnya. As she left the shop, a smart dash of rain struck upon her face. She smiled and did not feel it. Saat dia meninggalkan toko, rintik hujan deras menerpa wajahnya. Dia tersenyum dan tidak merasakannya. Ladies who shop in carriages, you do not understand. Para wanita yang berbelanja dengan kereta kuda, Anda tidak akan mengerti. Girls whose wardrobes are charged to the old man's account, you cannot begin to comprehend. You could not understand why Maida did not feel the cold dash of the Thanksgiving rain. Para gadis yang lemari pakaiannya dibayar oleh ayah, Anda tidak akan bisa memahami. Anda tak akan pernah bisa mengerti kenapa Maida tidak merasakan dinginnya hujan Thanksgiving itu. At 5 o'clock she went out upon the street wearing her purple dress. Pukul 5. Dia keluar ke jalan mengenakan gaun ungunya. The rain had increased, and it beat down upon her in a steady wind-blown pour. Hujan semakin deras, menghujaninya dengan kencang tertiup angin. People were scurrying home and to cars with close-held umbrellas and tight-buttoned raincoats. Orang-orang bergegas pulang atau menuju kendaraan dengan payung tergenggam erat dan jas hujan yang dikancing rapat. Many of them turned their heads to marvel at this beautiful, serene, happy-eyed girl in the purple dress walking through the storm as though she were strolling in a garden under summer skies. Banyak yang menoleh, heran melihat gadis cantik dan tenang, bermata cerah dalam gaun ungu, melintasi hujan bak berjalan di taman di bawah langit musim panas. I say you do not understand it, ladies of the full purse and varied wardrobe. Saya katakan, Anda pasti tidak memahaminya. Para wanita berkantong tebal dan memiliki pakaian berlimpah. You do not know what it is to live with a perpetual longing for pretty things, to starve 8 months in order to bring a purple dress and a holiday together. Anda tidak tahu rasanya hidup dengan kerinduan tiada henti akan barang-barang indah. Harus menahan lapar selama 8 bulan demi mewujudkan bersatunya gaun ungu dan hari libur. What difference if it rained, hailed, blew, snowed, cycloned? Apa bedanya jika hujan es, angin kencang, salju, atau angin badai sekalipun? Maida had no umbrella nor overshoes. She had her purple dress and she walked abroad. Maida tak punya payung maupun sepatu tahan air. Dia punya gaun ungu, dan dia berjalan keluar. Let the elements do their worst. A starved heart must have 1 crumb during a year. Biarlah alam melakukan yang terburuk. Hati yang lapar butuh 1 remah kebahagiaan dalam setahun. The rain ran down and dripped from her fingers. Hujan mengalir turun dan menetes dari ujung jarinya. Someone turned a corner and blocked her way. She looked up into Mr. Ramsay's eyes, sparkling with admiration and interest. Seseorang membelok di sudut dan menghalangi jalannya. Dia menengadah dan melihat mata T.N. Ramsay, berkilau dengan rasa kagum dan perhatian. "Why, Miss Maida," said he, "you look simply magnificent in your new dress. I was greatly disappointed not to see you at our dinner, and of all the girls I ever knew, you show the greatest sense and intelligence. There is nothing more healthful and invigorating than braving the weather as you are doing. May I walk with you?" "Wah, Nona Maida," katanya. "Anda tampak benar-benar luar biasa dengan gaun baru Anda. Saya sangat kecewa tidak melihat Anda di jamuan kita. Dan dari semua gadis yang pernah saya kenal, Anda menunjukkan rasa dan kecerdasan terbesar. Tak ada yang lebih menyehatkan dan menyegarkan dibanding menantang cuaca seperti yang Anda lakukan. Bolehkah saya berjalan bersama Anda?" And Maida blushed and sneezed. Dan Maida pun tersipu lalu bersin. End. Thank you for listening and please subscribe for more bilingual stories. We wish you a wonderful day and best of luck in your language learning journey. We hope we can be part of it.